Hey there, everyone. Ryan Schul here. Welcome to my data science and analytics channel. So, I've been tossing around the idea of making the channel a little bit more based on analytics and getting away from data science, which is all fine and well, but it's a little bit limited too, right? Like data science is data science, machine learning, and deep learning is deep learning. I think I'm going to take the channel more in a general direction and cover a bunch of different topics instead of just data science, ML, DL, or so on and so forth. I have a few videos on AI. I'm going to get a little bit more into the AI space, but in the project today, I want to talk about how we can create store procedures using SQL Server. So it's actually a very, 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 very easy way to do this, and I want to introduce you to that now, in case you haven't discovered that before. This makes it super easy to create a store proc. Okay, some people call it SProc, some people call it store procs. I guess it saves a little time if you say store procedure over and over 15,000 times a day. I guess, it'll eat up a chunk of your day if you just say SProc or store proc. It's the same thing. It saves you a fraction of a second there. But I guess if you do it 10,000 times a day, it saves a little time. So what's a SProc? Basically, store procedures are precompiled collections of one or more SQL statements. And this creates an optimal control of flow for logic. Okay, this is basically a procedure that's stored in the database and executes based on a demand or a trigger or you activating the SPROC, right? So there's a bunch of cases where we would want to do this. I have some cases here in descriptions, encapsulation of logic, grouping SQL operations, improve performance, security and access control, maintainability, parameterization. You'll see an example of that later. Reduce network traffic, auditing and logging, transaction control, and so on and so forth. So let's say you have SQL Server set up. You can get it for free. Okay, if you don't have it downloaded, let me see if I can find a free version real quick. SQL Server free download. So SQL Server comes to you for free if you use it for academic purposes or research or just for your own individual use. I think the only requirement is you cannot um, you cannot use this to make money. I think that's the only requirement. Okay, so if you're making money, Microsoft wants a chunk of that money. And if you're just playing around with it and just using it for free, then they don't really care what you do with it. Okay, so there we go. So you can go to that HTML, you can download it for free, and you would click this last one over here, right? So SQL Server Express, that's the version that you want. It has all the bells and whistles and everything that SQL Server has, except I think you're limited to like 10 gigs of data. And again, the license just allows you to do things that are free. If you're making money with it, you really have to get the, what's it called, the enterprise version or developer version, I guess. Okay. So that's that. So you can get the free version right here. You can get a sample database, which is called AdventureWorks. If you go to this URL over here, okay, go there. So I'm giving you all this code. You can download it. I'm using the most recent one that they put out. This is AdventureWorks LT. That's short for Light 2022.BAK. This is backup. So once this is downloaded onto your network drive or whatever, onto your hard disk, then you can go ahead and install it and use it. Okay, so I'm going to make this as comments. Okay, and again, it's just designed for learning T-SQL, practicing databases for the data science person, for the business analyst, just for the regular data analyst, for the BI developer, for all different people, right? So we are going to load this file, adventureworks.bak, and we want to move the file into this directory right here. So if you look carefully, you have C / program files, Microsoft SQL Server, MS SQL 16, MS SQL Server, MS SQL backup. Put it in there. Okay. Now, the reason that you put it into this file path right here is because this is not a protected area and SQL Server can access it very easily. If you put it on other spots on your hard drive, SQL Server might not have access to that. Then you have to set up permissions and do all kinds of funky, crazy things because you don't have permissions for SQL Server to access that part of the directory, and you have to set it up and you have to grant permissions. And I forgot what it's called, but there's different ways in SQL. You can use SQL commands to do this, but it's a lot of work. If you just put it right here, MS SQL backup, then there's no issue with permissions and you can reference it very quickly and very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and run this script right here, which I found online, to go ahead and put the database into my server right here. So if you look closely, this is SQL Server here. It's called My Device, very creative name. And these are all the databases on my device. You have some system databases and one called test. So I want to add SQL to that. I'm going to do Control A, function F5, and that should run it. And let's see if it works. Okay, completion time. So we have success. And then if I hit refresh on my server, refresh, okay, and we should see two databases. I think it's called My Test and then AdventureWorks Lite 2022. Okay, and if you expand that, you see all the tables in the database. And again, this is the server at the top level. So you have server, database, tables down here. So that's nice. We have programmability. That's where SQL Server Stored Procedures sit, or SPROCs. I keep using the long term. I should use the abbreviated version, right? So we have USP logic error, USP printer error. Not sure what that is, but that comes default standard. What I want to do for you is create a brand new stored procedure and show you just how easy this is to do. Okay, so we completed almost half the task here, right? So we're like halfway through. It's gonna be a short video. We got the free version of SQL Server right here. Okay, we download the light version of AdventureWorks right here, installed it right here with this line of code, hit F5 to load everything. Anything that hits, when you hit F5, it runs the SPROC, right? So when I right click on procedures and I hit create procedure new, I have the option to create the shell of a new procedure. So if I go stored procedure, stored procedures, right here, literally that's it. That's your stored procedure. That is the outline, or the what's it called? Just the, not the hierarchy. That's the, I guess, the structure. You can call it the structure of the stored procedure. So if you look close, a lot of this, about half the text, is green. Anything with two hyphens in front of it becomes a comment, right? So anything that's green is just a comment. It's nice to know, but you don't need any of this. So we can delete that. We can delete this. Okay, we have create procedure, and then they're giving you some parameters and database parameters and integer and default for parameter. That's a lot of stuff, guys. I don't even care about that. I'm going to delete that, put a space here just to make it a little bit easier to read. And all I really need here is create procedure as begin and go. So I need the begin and the end. Anything between that is going to be my SQL. And then at the end we have go. So this is the structure of your SPROC right here. This is literally all you need. So I took the liberty of creating a few SPROCs over here before I started the video. So this is not a video about SQL. I have two other videos on my channel about SQL. You can go ahead, check those out. One of it is more of an intro, kind of beginner version. This is SQL, this is what you can do, so on and so forth. And then again, to some more advanced use cases, including pivots and CTEs and dynamic SQL and things like this, right? So if you want to learn SQL, go Google it, read a book. By all means, I encourage you to do that. This is not that kind of video. I just want to quickly show you how to create some SPROCs, and that's it. So I have this SPROC right here. If I select it and right click and go to, let's see, design query and editor, we can actually see a visual representation of what the SPROC is doing. So anything that's fairly straightforward and simple, you can see the GUI version, or the GUI, what's it called? User interface, general user interface, or something like that. Something like that. You can see the visual representation of this SQL. Okay, so you can see the join line down here. If I stretch this out, you can see a little bit more over here. So it looks like we're going to customer ID on the SOH table and the C table, or customers, right? SOH is, what is this? This is customer tables and sales order header, okay, abbreviated SOH. So we have SOH linked to customers based on the customer ID. You can see the customer ID in both tables. Okay, so in these simpler, more straightforward SQL queries, you can go ahead and visually represent that. And you can see what we're selecting here, company name. And we are doing the company name, and what else? There's only a couple of things here. Customer ID, company name, summing, total due as total spent by the customer. This is the inner join between these two tables. We have customers and sales order headers joining on customer ID equals customer ID, group by customer ID and company name, and ordered by total spent in descending order. So anything that we're aggregating, we don't need to group by because the aggregation automatically takes it and condenses that. The group by has to occur on the tables that are not being aggregated. So there's customer ID and company name. You have customer ID, company name. This is the aggregation here. So we don't need to group by. So that's all fantastic. I'm going to hit function F5 to commit this. Syntax as. Okay, so let me get rid of this. It's giving me an error message. It doesn't like that. Begin. Create procedure. Oh, I know. There's no name for this. Okay. Yeah, it got me for a second. Okay, so I have to name the stored procedure. I'm going to call this, oh, let's see, I think I had a name for this thing already. Aggregation total sales per customer. Okay, total sales per customer, that's a good name. Very descriptive of what it is. You really should name your queries to describe what the query is doing. Don't just say query 1, query 2, query 3, query 4, because nobody's going to know what that means. And you, as the developer, are going to forget what that means very quickly, right? Has to have meaning, purpose. Total sales per customer, that's exactly what we're looking at. So I created the store proc. That's what this says over here. So we have a couple go statements at the beginning. As began, this is a SQL. So this is the body of the query right here, end and go. And we have the first store procedure, guys. So I'm going to shut this down. I'm all done with this. Okay, I don't want to save it. It's already been saved. And I don't need to save that. That was to load. Oh, yeah, I just closed. That was to load the the database, basically, right? To load AdventureWorks. So now we have 3 store procedures, the ones I just created, and the first 2 that came by default with this. Total sales per customer. If I go to modify, I can see the SQL code. I can go over here and change it to get whatever I want, right? Or to do whatever I want. So let's see what modify does. It just pops up the same query I just had. Okay. Wait, now it's making me think, did I even hit modify or did my finger go off the modify? I think it's running. Yeah, these things, I don't know why on my computer, sometimes it just runs super slow, guys. Super duper slow. So it should take this is like a 1 second job, maybe half a second, but yeah, my machine, it just doesn't like to do what it's told to do, I guess. Very rebellious. Very rebellious SQL Server. Okay. Anyways, I think we have to wait at this point because it's kind of stuck. I don't know what's stuck doing. It doesn't seem to be doing anything, but apparently it's doing something. Running. Okay, so note to self, now I'm not going to modify any more stored procedures today. Oh, so anyways, yeah, it's just running. It's doing its thing here. Nothing I can do about this. Should take a second, and it's taken much longer. So maybe we should say a prayer here. We should say a prayer. Okay, well, whatever. I mean, things just do random things on my computer. I shouldn't be doing this, but that's what it does. So the next one we're going to create in just a second is running total. This is customers purchase over time. We're going to see the cumulative running total of all the customers' purchases, starting with the first one and cumulatively going on in time as time progresses. And this thing is still doing nothing, right? Okay. I guess I'll just sit and wait because there's literally nothing I can do at this point. Oh, okay. It took way too long. So anyways, here's the stored procedure. Hit modify. I'll try not to do that anymore because for some reason it just doesn't like to modify, even though it should take a second. It takes like 60 times longer. So here's the modified store procedure. If I go in here and hit execute store procedure, it's going to run the sproc and all the SQL in the sproc based on running that name, total sales per customer, and it's going to show me the results of the query. Hopefully it doesn't take another minute to load up these things. Really should run in about 1 second or less, but again, on my computer, I don't know if it's gremlins or what, but things don't necessarily do what they're supposed to do. They just do whatever they want to do, I guess. Okay. So anyways, we're trying to run the sort procedure. That's where we are now. and we'll just let it go. I guess that's all I can do at this point. Pretty sure I hit. Let me do it again just to make sure. Probably there's two of them running now. Okay, yeah. So I hit. Maybe I didn't hit it. I don't. So I hit it this time. Hit OK, and it runs the store proc, right? And we get the results in the pane down here. So this is it. Very nice. We have the customer ID, the company name, and the total spent. And you can see the SQL that generates this is basically that's it. So we reference the database. Remember, we're on the server called My Device. This is the server. This is the database. That's one of the databases. This is the other one. This is my test database. There's not really a whole lot in here. There's a couple of tables, half dozen tables, and that is it, just for playing around and just for doing all kinds of screwy things. But then the thing that you need to know right here is the name of the stored procedure and where it's located under the programmability folder and under stored procedures. So that's the first one. Let's go ahead and create another stored procedure. Let me close that. Okay, and you should know the pattern now. I'll do this a few times. Really, nothing is going to change, right? I'll do this a couple of times just to showcase what SQL Server can do. And again, just to illustrate the point. So programmability, let me hit refresh just so we can see everything. Store procedures, I go in here. Okay, store procedure. I'll do store procedure, okay? And it creates, again, the whole structure for you guys. So this is super easy. Everything in green as a comment. Let me get rid of the comments. I don't need this. This is nice, but I don't need that. If you're just beginning and you just want to do this, very simple and very easy. Actually, I didn't want one thing. I need the name of the procedure, okay? Create procedure name. I need that, and I can delete this. Okay, those are comments. I can delete this. Okay, that is a good structure for beginning, but I don't need any of that, right? I'm going to name the store procedure. This is going to be called customer purchase overtime. Okay, so that's a good name, pretty descriptive of what it is. I am going to go back to SQL Server, create procedure. This is the name. We get rid of that apostrophe. That looks kind of like it's going to cause some problems. I don't want an apostrophe in my store procedure name, and there can't be any spaces either. So function F5 to run. Okay, commands completed successfully. If I refresh this, go down here, we should see 4 stored procedures. The 2 I just created, right? This is the first one. This is the second one. I'm not going to go to it. I'll go to modify. I'll just push my luck here. Okay, this one is a little bit faster, right? The last one took a minute. This one took about a second. That's what it should be. So here's the SQL. If I hit function F5, it should run just that because it runs everything that's selected, right? So hit F5 or function F5 if your function key isn't enabled in the keyboard, and you get what you need. Now, if we want to run the procedure, I'm going to say no to saving that because I have everything I need. That's already saved and contained in the sproc folder down here, right? So if I go over here, okay, go over here and hit execute. It's going to run the sproc, and I get exactly what I want, right? Customer procedures, customer purchase over time. It runs here. All we do is we reference the name of the database, call the sproc right here, and return value. That's it, guys. So here's your SQL, customer ID, order date, total due, and then running sum. So you can see these two are the same, these two are the same, different customers. And then every time the customer order increases, you'll see the running total increase. So if we go down to the bottom, unless we have all unique customers, we might have all unique customers in this case. And that's okay. That's okay. So I didn't know that until I just looked at it now. All the customer IDs are unique. So the running total is the same as the total due because there's nothing that's actually cumulatively increasing over time. So sorry, if it was increasing, if the customer ID was repeated, you would see this increasing, but it doesn't. Didn't even know that until right now. Okay, let me do a couple more examples. So that's 2. I was going to do 1 and then decided to double it to get to 2, and then I decided to double that to get to 4. Just do this a couple of times. But honestly, guys, once you just see it one time, you should be able to do this pretty easily and pretty much all by yourself. So store procedure, right click, store procedure. Okay, again, delete anything that's a comment. You don't need that. Anything over here, I will keep procedure name. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. That's a comment. That's a comment. And I think I have number 3 over here, top products by revenue. So let's look at the top products by revenue. Begin goes over here in the procedure. Top. Okay, function F5 to run it. This commits it as a stored procedure. When I hit refresh here, you'll see the new sproc underneath, total prod by customer. Total, wait, this one, total products by revenue. That's what we just created. If I go to modify, you'll see the SQL. If I go to execute, you'll see the sproc executed, right? So here's all the SQL that's what I just created. And if I hit execute, it's asking me, okay is okay. I want to go. And again, reference the database name and the store procedure. This is DBO, database object, and return value equals return value. And you have the product ID, product name, revenue, and then sales rank. So this is the highest ranking, and it goes down to, I guess, 142. This is the lowest ranking sale, and this is the highest ranking sale. And again, if you wanted to see the SQL for that, so we have the product ID, the name is the product name, the sum is revenue, and rank over order by the sum, right? In descending order, because we're looking for the top items, the most valuable items occur at the top in descending order, right? So it's highest to lowest, that's descending order. Ascending would be the opposite. Ascending would be lowest to highest, and we're doing a rank over the sum. Right? So that's pretty straightforward, guys. So let's do one more. We're up to 3. Let me look at one more here. Let me close this just to clean up the environment a little bit. Okay, and you can tell this video was kind of different from a lot of the others, right? A lot of the other times I'm doing machine learning, data science. I think good SQL skills are essential for any data scientist or any kind of machine learning engineer. That's why we want to introduce this topic, right? And just to showcase how easy it really is to create an sproc here. It takes next to nothing once you understand the structure and the end game of what's going on here. Okay, so let me put a space just to make it a little bit easier to read. And this one is called what? Lead lag sales by product ID. Okay, so pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Lead sales by ID. Okay, so you have the name, everything looks good. F5, function F5. If the function key isn't enabled, let's go look for the sproc, refresh, lead lag, that's what we're looking for. Boom, right there, lead lag by prod ID. If we go to modify, we'll see the SQL encased in the sproc structure right there. So we see all the SQL here. If I just run it, again, function F5 or just F5 if your function is enabled. Sales, product, unit price, previous price, that's the lag and that's the lead. So if you look careful here, 80976, the lag was 80976, and we're leading by order ID. Oh wait, so by product ID. So by product ID 356. Product ID 356 would be the unit price. The lag would be 35689. That's the previous, and then the lead would be 356898. That's the next one. So just another example of lead lag in SQL queries. So let me give you one more. I tested these, so I know all these work. This last 5th one, I just came up with it. I don't know for sure if this will work, but the structure looks pretty decent, so I think it's going to work. Okay, so let me shut this down. We have 4 fully functioning, fully working sprocs right here. Let's try a 5th stored procedure. Again, everything that's a comment I'm deleting, so get rid of that. That is gone too. Those are comments. I don't need it. This is the name of the sproc, so I'm going to leave just create sproc, and anything between the begin and end is the body of the SQL, right? So sproc, I'll do dynamic names, dynamic dates, D-Y-N, D-Y-N-A-M-I-C, D-A-T-E-S, dynamic dates, okay? F5 to run it. Okay, so that worked. That's good. That's what I expected, but I didn't know for sure. Let me refresh this, dynamic dates, and go back to my sprocs over here. So now we have all 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's number 5. That's the latest one that I just created. And go to modify. So here's the SQL. I can test this, right, just by hitting F5, function F5. And I pass in 2 dates. So I'm passing 1/1/2022 to 12/31/2022. So all of 2022, I want to get all these dates, function F5 to run, and anything between these dates shows up, and there's actually no dates. Let me look at this. Now, where's this coming from? Start date, end date from sales order header. So sales order header. So what's going on here? It must have a different date. So let me see what's going on here. Probably older dates. This is an older database. 2028, 2008. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So do 2008. They really don't update these things. This is going back pretty far. The 2008, I guess. That's what they're telling me here. Okay. Function F5. So anything between those dates, it pulls it back. So actually, I do have to modify this sproc, and I think I'm in modify mode right now. Let me close this. Let me show you how, if you want to modify the sproc, how that works. I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to save this. Oh, that's closed, and this is closed too. So that looks good. Close that thing. Okay, if I go back to here and run it, right, nothing's going to happen, right? Because we're outside of the range of those dates. So I'm putting in 2022, and it's really looking for 2008 dates, right? So nothing gets returned, but I can easily go back and modify the store procedure to get 2008 dates, right? If I go 2008 and function F5 to commit it, now it's updated with all the dates. Now when I run it, it's going to pull back the dates, right? So I modified it. I can just execute the sort procedure. It's going to have all the dates for 2008. And you can see all the data that comes back here. And we get about 32 rows. And I didn't look closely at those dates, but let me go back, find just 1 month within there. Like if you don't want the entire year, just want 1 month. So they have 6/13. They'll still get to 32. So here's the thing. If we do dynamic dates is what now? Oh, I know. So 6/1, if I go 6/1 to order date or due date, but which one is that actually? Oh, order date. So order date is all 6/1. So I was thinking maybe it's across a couple different dates. It's only one date. Even if I change this over here to 06/01, even if I get 6/30, this will get all of June, but there's only one order date, right? Function F5, run it, you'll still get the same 32 records, and execute, we'll still get the same 32 because there's only one order date, 6/1. So hit enter, we get 32 dates returned, but if we did have dates fall outside of June 2008, we would get fewer, right? That's what the parameters give you the control of, or here, right? So you have the beginning start date and the ending start date. If you want to somehow dynamically pass in your dates, that's an option too, to control the flow, to control the type of reporting you're going to do. Certainly, if you have a massive database that goes back years and years and years, and you just want to report 1 quarter, you put the beginning quarter date and the end quarter date, or if you just want to look at 1 year, right? You can easily pass in these parameters as dates and then get exactly what you're looking for, rather than querying the entire database and getting the entire universe of data, right? So a lot of times you will look for specifically for a certain begin date or end date. Okay, so that is it, guys. I am going to save this guideline for you. This one was pretty much unscripted. I really didn't do a whole lot of coding. I mean, I did a little SQL work before I turned on the recorder here and started doing the what's it called? The dialogue, or whatever the saying is, narration, before I'm doing the narrative. I call this the narrative. Before I started doing the narrative, I put together the SQL. But other than that, it was very unscripted and very just from the cuff here, just going as I saw fit. So that's it. I will share all this information with you in the form of a Jupyter notebook, and I also have a little sort of, what would I call this? Some notes that I put together. I have some notes in Word document, so I'll share that with you guys too. If you just want to see it, this is what the notes look like. So I'll post this on my Google Drive. You can download the notes, and you can download the Jupyter notebook and use both in parallel here. Okay, these are my notes. This is what it looks like. So you can have all the SQL, I have some screenshots here, and all the step-by-step activities of what you need to do to create a store procedure quickly and easily using SQL Server. Okay, so I will save all that for you, and I'll post that later today. When I post the video, you'll have all my notes and everything you need. That's it, guys. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully this was useful. Good use of time. I think it was time well spent. I really do. So that's it. I will end the video right now, and I will see you guys soon when I post the next video. Okay, Talk to you soon. Bye.